this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I'm doing this care collab. At first I felt like a bit of a fraud on the grounds that it's not the actual plant that we're doing the care collab for, which I pointed out, and then it was mentioned to me that hybrids that contain the plant in question are okay to join in. So not only am I okay to join in, but having sort of looked up what the content is of this plant, I'm doubly okay to join in. I'll explain. But first of all, before we get going on this, in the age-old tradition, we will show in the traditional manner, in a galaxy far, far away, the other channels that are joining in. Okay, let's get going then. First of all, I haven't had this plant long, so I can't tell you what care it likes in my environment because it hasn't flipping been here long enough. I got this around the middle of June, so it really hasn't been with me that long. It's been repotted. There's not much activity going on in the pot, quite honestly. What I'm hoping for is that this nice strong new growth here does actually put some roots out because it hasn't so far. The previous growth on here has got a sheath. That doesn't mean it's going to bloom, and being disturbed, change of environment, change of media, etc. probably means it won't. It may bloom on this one. Now the story behind this is in the private area at Burnham's they have a Prosthechia area. Now first of all we've got to decide, are we doing a soft CH or a hard CH today, because there's quite a lot of them. Some say Prosthechia, some say Prosthechia, and quite honestly it's not called that anymore, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's getting involved with name changing again today for a bit of fun. Anyway, rather than Prosthechia, what we've actually got is a Garechia, or a Garechia, again, the soft or the hard CH. Quite honestly, I'm not fussed either way, so I don't need a load of explanations in the comments. It really doesn't drive me up the wall. I would say Garechia, because I'm English and CH is pronounced ch, even though that's a Latin word probably. Anyway, we don't meet a lot of Lats, do we? Right, so the story behind this one is it is a registered cross with the RHS anyway, and it starts out with Garechia Miva Etoile Noir, so that's where it gets its dark colour from, yeah, and that's actually Garryanthe beringiana, or beringiana, however you want to say that. Soft G, hard G, it's all good fun, isn't it? Do I give her monkeys? Not really. Anyway, beringiana crossed with Prosthechia, cochliata. So that's how that one came about, and then that one has been crossed back with Prosthechia cochliata again. So in fact the original cross is a species, what was a cattleya, crossed with a species Prosthechia cochliata, which is what we're talking about today, and then that's been crossed back with Prosthechia cochliata, so there's actually quite a bit of the aforementioned in this cross. So now I don't feel like such a fraud, apart from the fact you're not going to get much care, because I haven't really paid a lot of attention to this. This is not a fussy orchid at the end of the day. It just isn't. Even though it's got a cattleya in I've never had, which was a cattleya once, and I don't know much about that, but you know, it's got a double dose of the Prosthechia in it, and they're pretty easygoing orchids. They're quite vigorous growers when they decide to grow. At that point they would probably need a reasonable amount of food and water. That's what mine's getting at the moment to push this new growth on, but it's having to get its feed and water through an old set of roots, so I can't push it as hard as I would like. You know, if this new growth had its own new set of roots, then it would get pushed harder, because it would do it itself. I wouldn't have to do anything different. Still going to get the same feed and water, but it would take on board a lot more and use it. That's the difference. These are temperature tolerant as long as you don't get them too cold. They will put up with sort of quite high and quite low temperatures, and I'd say medium to high light on the grounds that they can come from evergreen and deciduous forests. So depending on which tree in which environment they decide to attach to, they could be growing in dappled light, they could be growing in quite bright light. So I would say they're also quite light tolerant as well, but that's sort of guesswork based on, you know, how the original species, the cochliata, would grow in the wild. And don't forget, it's got a cattleya mixed in with it, which could alter. Now, I'm not looking up the cattleya. If you want to know, you can do that yourself. But most cattleyas are good light to high light, so it's unlikely there's going to be a species cattleya that's totally different to all the rest, let's put it that way. And most are intermediate to warm growers. So you can pretty safely say that this cross is actually going to work fine, treating it like the normal species. Well, I was going to say Prosthechia, but Garachia, let's be proper, shall we? Garachia, Prosthechia or Prosthechia. It's all good fun. I've had enough already. Anyway, so that's it for this one. There's not much to say. Haven't had it long. I know what's in it, and what's in it shouldn't make it awkward, difficult, or anything other than treating it like a normal Prosthechia, which is what I'm doing and what I will continue to do until such time as the plant objects. So once I see some failings in some shape or form, then I'll have another think. But until then, this is just getting pretty good light, feed and watered with all my other pots. It's not getting any special treatment. I must admit the pot is staying wet a fair bit at the moment. Sorry, it's just been watered, that's why it's dripping. Simply because it hasn't got a good root system yet, but I'm hoping this new growth will still has time to push out a new set of roots. And then I will know that the roots come late on the growths. You know, I say some plants, they start their new growths and the roots start at the same time, but not all. You know, so just because you've got a new growth, it doesn't mean to say it's the best time to repot. So that's my take on this. And as I said, it's not that detailed. I haven't had the plant long enough. I can't give you a care guide based on my experience with this plant because I haven't got any yet. So all the words and everything that I've put out today have been looked up. You know, and that's my summary of what I found out. Okay, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.